Right now we are joined with Angelina Steenstra, and she is with Silent No More, which is a post-abortion healing ministry, and it's worldwide. And in a short time we're going to be hearing powerful testimonies from men and women who have suffered from abortion and all that they've gone through in their lives. Why don't you tell us all about Silent No More in Canada, about the organization, and how is it established in Canada?
In 2004, I went to Washington, D.C. to participate in the second gathering that took place in front of Supreme Court. And I was really convicted that this needed to come to Canada. And I'd been doing post-abortion ministry for a number of years, so I knew there were a lot of men and women that might be interested in going public and sharing their stories. So Janet and Georgette thought it was a great idea and stood behind me and gave me all the support I needed, along with the pro-life movement in Canada, to bring the campaign to Canada. So we hosted our very first event here on Parliament Hill, May 13th, 2004, just a few months after my being in Washington. And since then, the campaign is growing. We have regional coordinators across the country who I work with to spread the message of the campaign. And the campaign is really targeted to people who have had the experience of abortion, to let them know they're not alone, that if they're hurting, there's help available. There are many people who experience that pain and suffering. We want to educate the public, so that's how come we share our testimony.
I could still remember many years back seeing you. I was not there personally, but I remember seeing it. I can't remember all the words of it, but your face and seeing you. I still remember that to this day. And I think that's part of the power of actually standing up publicly and bearing witness to what's taken place in one's life and the healing mercy of Almighty God. Tell us what goes into possibly making a decision like that. Not everybody has to go public who's had an abortion, has been healed from it, but what's the development of that? How do you get to that point? What's the cost of that?
It's a journey. It's a journey, and I would say today for anyone who's watching, look up abortionforgiveness.com, and that's the first step, is to
abortionforgiveness.com,
and that'll lead you to healing programs. And when a person has moved through that healing journey and they're ready to go public, Silent No More is a place where they can come and share their story. And not only does it continue a person's own healing, but it takes it a step further. It becomes about the other, about reaching out, letting people know that they're not alone. And so it's a real way to witness, to be a light in the darkness. And so there is a cost.
And it's a real force of healing, isn't it? Because once you've participated directly in abortion, I guess the next step of pain is I just have to be silent. Everything gets turned inward, and I'm not worthy to do. But you get healed up, and part of that healing is moving out and speaking.
Exactly.
Coming out.
That's right. And often the abortion is a secret, and so the very person, like in my story, I experienced my first pregnancy as a result of rape. I tried to cover up my whereabouts that night and all the deception involved, and that I became pregnant. And so it was my long-held secret for about 14 years.
You know, and the beautiful thing about being being post-abortive is being a credible witness and saying, as Pope John Paul had said, women who are post-abortive and men, then you have an opportunity to become the most eloquent spokespersons for the gospel of life, just to say, I'm a wounded healer, and I once was you, and this could be you, but we have to speak, we have to surrender that secret.
That's right, and that's the cost. We die to ourselves for the glory of God and to reach out to others. And one of the latest initiatives of the campaign is what we call the Healing the Shockwaves of Abortion, because today, for the first time, Anita Sontag, our regional coordinator from Saskatchewan, will stand with her daughter, and her daughter will hold a sign, I mourn the loss of my aborted sibling. And Janet Morana today will hold a sign, I grieve the loss of my aborted grandchild. And so we know that abortion impacts not just the mother and the father, that's immediate, but it goes out like ripples in a pond.
Angela, thank you so much. Silent No More awareness.